Now let's take a look at some labyrinths around the planet and the rest of the United States. These are thought stimulators and visual stimulators to show you what can be done, so that, you know, I built 2 of these already, and I'm going to get ready to build a 3rd one, so you may want to do it. But as I said earlier, John Capella, we're on the radio program. This other girl in Denton just walked about through a bunch of stones on a piece of grass. So you don't have to have anything fancy. This, Fred and Harry knows this, but when I go up to Hot Springs Village, I go visit these people. This is a 500-pound crystal in their house. If you know Arkansas and crystals, the Coleman brothers are the ones that really dig for them. You can go to Mount Ida if you want to, but these guys got the backhoe. So Gladys talks to one of them, and Charlie talks to the other. And these guys got crystals from all over the country. When I was doing my voodoo stuff here for the chemtrails, I always got my double terminated crystals from them. So when I come off the hill up at Petit Jean Mountain and I come down, and I've been going up there for 20 years, I call them just to see if they're going to be there, and Gladys yells out at Charlie, "Charlie, Lipinski's coming off the hill, go blow off the labyrinth." And the reason they're blowing off the labyrinth is because all these trees here in Hot Springs Village come down and they have all these things here. Now they say they have 1,000 crystals here. I'm not sure if they do. And they said they're tired of this and they might want to pick them up, and for what? So I come down here every year. You walk in here, you got all kinds of crystals all over the place. It's a small one, not too many people know it's there. Really get some good energy. And that's what one people did. In Arkansas, they can get the crystals, why not? So this is in Houston. Notice what they did. This is a church. Not only did they build a nice outdoor labyrinth, 6 petals, a lot of switchbacks, but notice the 3 fountains they put out here. This is not a good picture, but you can see how they decorated it up, and so it's inviting to come out and please walk me. In Unity at Dallas over there, I'll show you what we had over there, but I must have walked that one 60 times, because why not after church go out there and walk the thing. This is the Boston Commons. Notice how peaceful this is, very easy to maintain. Look at all the trees. Of course, they have a lot of snow this last year either, so whatever. This is a Chartres style in Davis. The reason I show you this again is because of the 6 petals. This guy's just selfieing himself or whatever. A lot of switchbacks here, and it's probably inside, but it's a beautiful one. This one here, these people in Grace Cathedral are really into labyrinths. This is what it looks like inside. You walk up to go to church, but you have an opportunity to walk this one if you want to in the beginning, and we'll see why at an older church they had this here. But then they go outside. Look at these guys. This is their outside labyrinth in San Francisco. Here's your petals, but notice a little place you can sit out here. A little bit of traffic, beautiful, no maintenance. You know, you can go out here and you can have a group of people walk that if you want to. So they have labyrinths in and out for you to walk. Now this is my kind of labyrinth for a lot of reasons. Notice we have the water out here, the simplicity, and the couple things that I like. When you have water, that takes the negative energy out of you, number one. Number two, when we were kids, when they didn't have all the dog offerings and glass and nails in the lawn, we used to walk barefoot. And the energy we need is from Mother Earth, and so when you take your sandals off, you can walk in the sand and you can feel Mother Nature. And it's nothing fancy. Somebody got a couple logs, they got some stones. Yeah, when it rains, it's going to be a mud puddle, maybe. But the simplicity, the barefooting, and the water out there, plus these little things around, just a beautiful experience. And back to the simplicity of nature. This one's not bad. I kind of like this one. They have wide channels here, beautiful stones. Nobody's going to be kicking them around. They may have a fountain or something here you can sit down on. There might be water here. I'm not sure. It's just a beautiful one. It looks pretty big. It's very simple, nothing fancy. This is a corporate one, and look how big that thing is. But also, if you played baseball like I did, you put the chalk down. But if the grass starts growing, you're going to cut the grass, you're going to blow this chalk all over the place. But as a corporation, they could care less, they'll put more chalk down. But it's a magnificent one, and it's good that a corporation is at least offering this kind of meditational experience to their people. This one is not bad. This is in California, nice little centerpiece, hard ground, nice brickwork. But again, very little maintenance, so it's very easy to walk through that one. Naperville is, I have some friends in Austin, Texas. I go down to the Unity of the Hills down there, went on a cruise with them a year and a half ago. And they're trying to raise $25,000 to build a labyrinth, and when you see mine, what's up with all theirs? But if they have the money and they want to put it together, fine. This one is beautiful, but the problem is the stones, you know, too tight. I'm not sure if this guy built it or whatever, but it's just beautiful. It's inviting, and it's outside. There's no maintenance at all on it. This is Erie, Pennsylvania, very simple, a little different patterning. Instead of going around, these things do different, but it's one path in and one path out. This guy in Vermont, just take a look at the solidness of his labyrinth. Notice how at the end points here he puts different kinds of rocks. Just a little bit of highlighting thing that you're going to make a turn. This is very solid. I don't think anything's going to happen. Maybe a little narrow, but it's just a beautiful, simple stone labyrinth out in the woods. This one's going into the prayer circle also. This is in Yosemite. Now this is a basic pattern, but guess what's going to happen if somebody tries to walk this? You're going to put footprints in the snow. It's going to mess it all up. You might cross over the line. And who's this friend over here? This is a black bog coming to get them. But it's just like castles in the sand. When the tide comes up, you know, you lose it. So for one day, this person did a beautiful pattern, but you know, what do we do from here? When you're in Scotland and you're doing a lot of drinking, why not take your bottles and put them out on the hard ground? Now notice the water's here again. But they've had too many pints. They might be, you know, spinning the bottle, but not in the what game we used to play in the old days. So it's simple, it's basic, but it's still a labyrinth, and you still get the energy. This is in a church. The chairs, if you notice, are coming forward. This is a straight line labyrinth, and the straight line labyrinth, the heart is your basic thing, but the straight line works on the 4 chakras below: the base, the sexual area, the solar plexus, in your heart. When you have the circles, that works on the heart, the throat, the third eye pituitary, and the crown. We used to have one like this at Unity. So this is for the lower chakras. Probably a lot of people don't know that, but it's nice and they put it in there. This is another one I like in Sweden. It's very simple, it's very narrow, solid rock, no maintenance, trees, sun, and you're in the shade. It's a nice experience of peace and quiet. This one goes into the prayer circle too. A lot of money to expend on this. There's a river over here, but notice how the rocks are a little bit uneven. And if you fall on this one, you know, you're going to fall into the rock. And you think this is only 2 or 3 inches here, hopefully. I saw a mother with 3 kids trying to walk this, and you can imagine the kids are, you know, wild hyenas, and they're not paying attention, and they're going to go overboard. But it's a beautiful design. This is Finland. This is just a basic labyrinth, but notice the simple excellence of this thing. The rocks are there, nobody's going to move, but notice how narrow the channel is. But it's just a great labyrinth. It's outside. It looks like the woods. There might be a fence over here on this side, but it's just a great labyrinth. And again, we're just looking at labyrinths all over the place to get different ideas. This is over in Hong Kong, and this is for the seminary. So these are not smooth rocks, and they're probably not doing a fire walk here, but they're walking probably barefoot on these hard stones. But it's a beautiful labyrinth close to the city in the park. In Germany, this is a nice candle lab. You can see some actual people down here getting ready. I don't know whether these are the bags where they have the candles in or somebody has the lights in there, but it's a beautiful one. It's a nice nighttime experience. Again, this is in Notre Dame. This is an abbey. Look at the woodwork that they've done here. Here's your 6 petals. Notice the switchbacks. Look at just the simplistic beauty. You kind of want to walk it. And it's in a church, so you have peace and quiet. This one here is in ruins. Ruined, we don't know if they're locking people out, but this is a basic labyrinth they have. Now here's where the problem came. If you've ever listened to the History Channel on this cathedral, it took them 60 years to build this. All the local people were mad because they're getting beat up for money all the time. And so a couple bishops came and went because they were in the Holy Wars. The architect designed to put this roof on was fascinating, what they had to do this. And so how they compensated was they put a labyrinth in the church. So if anybody was mad, they get it out of their system before they got in here. And it's such a fabulous church, and I say the History Channel had an hour on it. It's a fabulous story. So here's breaking news here, steps on taking your walk. So we set our intention before we walk in the labyrinth. You know, we have intention, we have an issue, we have a problem. And when you're standing there, if there's other people, they don't do anything until you move forward. You set your intention, you ask your question. You begin your walk at your own pace. This is not race walking. You're not running. You're not trying to get done in this in 2 minutes. You're going to be open for new ideas and visions or whatever. And some of our people stop at the 4 corners maybe. You do whatever you want to do. And when you're going into the labyrinth, you've asked your question. The going into it is from the past. This is a past moment in time. And as you get into the center, that's the present, and you stay there as long as you want to. You pray, you turn around, you just open. We're open to a lot of things like elementals. When we walked at Unity, there's nice woods all there. We look for the elementals, we look for the angels, we look for the idea of them being there. When I did a lot of outside meditations, there's a time between day and night when the crickets would kick in, so there's night sounds versus day sounds. And when you're outside and you're open to that kind of stuff, you'll hear it. So we have the past, we go to the center for our present, and then we're coming out as our new future. We've asked a question, we wanted some information, we had an issue, and as we come out, we're open to receive. I wish that it would be as simple as receiving a text on your smartphone, but it just is not that way. You know, you're open, you receive that information, that feeling, that knowingness, whatever it may look like for you. Now, some people on their walk, you know, they just don't walk. Some people play an instrument like a flute. Some people say the Lord's Prayer. Some people honor the 4 different directions, north, south, east, and west. Some will tone, some will hum, some will swing. When doing the switchback, sometimes people just turn around 360 degrees. Some are more in tuned into the sounds and the elemental sounds of nature. So there's anything you can do. You can be very creative because this is your walk. Now, I put this up here again because we started with this, and I don't know whether this is photoshopped or not. We've seen these flowers before. It's kind of narrow. But when you come in here, if you notice, you can go out this way, which ain't the way a labyrinth works. You have to come back out this way. But I like the picture because of the colors.